Hi, students, and welcome to week 7. Yay! We are now 7 and 7 or 14. Oh, I think I lied last week. Did I say we're almost halfway done last week? 7 and 7 or 14, but this is a 15-week class. So, yeah, we're almost there. So when we finish week 7, we have 8. So at the end, so next week is our midpoint kind of thing. Anyway, I think I was mistaken last week. See, I don't do math well. It does not work with me. All right. I'm going to get you caught up on some historical fun facts, and then we're going to move on and do some really cool stuff. Okay, so is this one correct? I tried to not do the math, but I find it more impactful. If I say 1957, that is no point of reference for anybody. But if I say 62 years ago on Monday, the British Computer Society was founded. So back in the 50s, okay, the British culture realized that there was an importance to computers. And so they founded a computer society that is to promote the study and practice of computing and to advance knowledge therein for the benefit of the public. So that's pretty cool. So they saw it right then. It's one of several international societies that have an affiliate membership. So back 62 years ago, they realized the importance of computing, the importance of the promotion of ethical computer use, and now we're dealing with all this hacking. So I think that is pretty cool. All right. The year before and a day later, the first Fortran reference manual was released. And if memory serves, I mentioned Fortran a couple of times very, very early on in this. So it's only 60 pages long with large print, wide margins. So let me see if I recognize any of these people's names. Not off the top of my head. But yeah, this was a big deal. Fortran is still like I said, I think I mentioned it back early on. I'd have to go look. But anyway, so that was released. All right, very cool. All right, then in 1959, so 57, 56, 59, the CDC introduces the 1604 computer. This is not the Centers for Disease Control. This is the Control Data Corp. So it released its first model computer, the first in the line from the company that was formed by a group of people that left Sperry Rand Corporation. And this was led by William Norris. So the 1604 was the most powerful computer in its day. It was designed by Seymour Cray, who would go on to a career in building supercomputers. Okay, so applications of this computer included processing data in real time, controlling weapon systems, solving large-scale scientific problems, and commercial applications. Okay, that being said, if we go back a little bit, Mr. Cray was killed in a car accident in October in 1996. That's a picture of him, and look at what he's got working on there. Okay, so sorry for that. All right, where am I down here? Okay, then if this were my face-to-face class, you would have learned back around Word Chapter 2 that in the early part of the last century, so which is funny to say because it was only the early part of 1900s, there was the part before that. So in the late 1800s and early 1900s, there was a gentleman named Herman Hollerith who worked for the Census Bureau. And back then, they took the census by hand. People went door to door. They took all this information. If you watch TV shows like Who Do You Think You Are, or Finding Your Roots, or any of the Ancestry or those kind of genealogy shows where they show you the census, you go look for people, and it's all done in beautiful penmanship and handwriting and everything. That was done by hand. People would go door to door and take this information by hand, write it in these big books, and submit it. And now it's scanned and put on the internet. That took 8 years to process. Once they collected the data, it took 8 years to process by hand. So Mr. Hollerith said, "Oh, no, I don't think so." So he invented a machine very similar to a Scantron. And he sent his people out with punch cards. And they went and collected the data using punch cards and brought all these punch cards back. And the census was calculated and tabulated in a year using his Scantron machine. So, and then he formed a company, bought and sold. That company became IBM. So now in 1994, IBM was cutting back on its personal computer line. They did a lot of different things. but they cut back in 1994. In October of 2012, Newsweek went to online only. They don't publish the print version anymore. None of these have anything to do with what we're doing. If you want to read them, you're more than welcome to. It's www.computerhistory.org. And then they have a thing called This Day in History. Okay, so that's that. So now let's move on to the stuff you're waiting for. And so that is the word celebration of knowledge. Please don't let the word exam freak you out. It is merely this could not be easier. Okay. So I'm going to go into the module here. The word celebration of knowledge is done in my IT lab. It is a skill builder. It is no different than a skill builder. You've done skill builders and you've done the exam reviews. It is exactly the same thing. You should be bored out of your mind by this by now. And so it's got instructions. It's got a starter file. It's got all the things you need. It has a picture of the results of what yours should look like. And then in the module in Blackboard, here is information about what you need. And then over here, you have the videos available. So you can go look at the videos for Word Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 if you do not know how to do a skill. Okay. Now, the only difference is there is only one attempt, and this exam/skill builder is worth 100 points. So make sure that you're okay with it. And when you submit it, watch and make sure you got a grade. Make sure that it was submitted correctly and make sure that it was graded. And that way, I'm not looking at your grade and, oops, something didn't happen. So make sure it was submitted. Okay, now, the next thing is, this is part of the final word exam. Remember back in week 2, you were to create the folder hierarchy. And so this is where you're going to show me that you did. So you should have a BCIS 1110. You should have all of these. I showed this to you back in week 2. I need to see that you have at least the Word and Word chapters 1, 2, and 3. As I said back in week 2, I don't care if you have reports and start files, but if you have them, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine. But you should be using these chapter folders for the content. It should have your starter file. Whether you save the instructions or not is not my problem. I'm not going to take off for that. I need to have a screenshot that looks like this. Okay. Then, concept project for computer security. Okay. So this is not going to take a tremendous amount of time, but you should set aside maybe an hour to do this. All right. This first part, you're going to submit 2 or 3 screenshots. Okay. Depending on what goes on. So all that has to happen is open up Yahoo, what's the other one? Chrome, Safari, whatever your search engine is. They mentioned Google. Okay, so it's called Googling yourself. Okay, so you need to do it 3 times. You need to do your first and last name. All right, so if your name is Jane Doe, you're probably going to get a lot of different results. If your name is something else like mine, it comes up weird. Don't Google my name. It's horrible. Okay, so here is where your assignment is. Google yourself, first and last name. Take a screenshot of the results. First name, middle initial, last name, screenshot the results. If you don't have a middle name, or if it's probably better to just do even if you get the same result. And then your name and the city where you live. Take a screenshot of whatever the results are. If something comes up that you'd rather I not see, then use a snip and just leave that out. All I need to know, I need to see that you have submitted, that you have put your name into a search engine and gotten the results. That is the goal of this assignment. How secure are you? If all of your information, if you're like a Kardashian and all of your information comes up, then what is computer security? There is no privacy anymore. There is no security. So that is all I need. Take a screenshot, slap it into a Word document, save it, and submit it here the same way. Just click on this, browse your computer and find it, or if you have it on your desktop and you minimize this, you can drag it over here and then submit it, and that's it. 5 seconds, 5 points. Okay, now, then there's a video and a quiz, so you have to watch this TED Talk from James Line about everyday cybercrime, and then take that quiz, okay? Now, these things go together, so stay with me. Stay with me. It looks confusing, but it's not as confusing if you just stay with me. Okay. This discussion and this assignment tie together. So the information that you find and put in this discussion go into a worksheet that you submit here. Okay, so here's the first part. Let me break it down. All right, so to get full credit on the discussion, open up a search engine, they say Google, and literally type in common computer security threats. You will get gazillions of results. Okay, pick 3. Describe 3 of them and put the URLs. All right. So I found these 3 security threats. Here's number 1, URL. Number 2, URL. Number 3, URL. And then talk about those, describe what those threats are. So this is some research. You're going to find the 3 and you're going to get the URLs. That's the discussion. Okay. So then and then you reply to at least 2 other students with practical, valid advice gathered from your research on protecting against security threats. So things like don't use password 123, don't use 123456, those kind of things. Okay, that's the discussion. Now here's the thing: keep those same 3 sources and the URLs, and you're going to go fill out this worksheet. All right, it's a Word document, so you can open it up. So you have to keep that information available. And those 3 sources, please don't do that. Okay. All right, so you don't have to put your name on it. All right, so now you go back to those websites. You're looking for the validity and the currency of those websites, okay? So if you really give this some thought, and you spend some time on it and you go find really old websites, you're going to find some interesting stuff. I mean, let's remember the internet's been around for a while, and some people have created websites and never gone back and updated them. They just abandoned them, but they're available. Okay. So you're going to fill out. So this is one. The first one of the 3 that you got, and then the other 2 go down here. Here's the second. And here's the third. So those 3 websites that you found, you now have to analyze them. All right. So take the first one, currency. And that means how current is it? So you're going to put the URL right here. Okay. Put the URL, click and tap to enter the text, put the URL, then go to that website. How recently has the website been updated? Scroll down to the bottom. There may be a copyright or an updated. And how recently was the website updated? There should have a date, or you can say unsure, unknown, unclear. Okay, so you can put that over here. Okay, then is it recent enough for it to be relevant to what you're saying? That is security threat. And then yes or no, and enter any text, and then rank it right here. So you're going to give each of these points a ranking of 1 to 10. So if it's really current, this was updated just this week. A Wikipedia website is updated every other second. Okay. So if this hasn't been updated since 1993, then you would give that a 0 or a 1, right? Relevance. How important is the information for your needs? Does it relate? So what you're looking for is you're looking for computer threats where it came up and said it talked about computer threats. Is it really relevant? So you're going to answer these questions over on this side and give them points for all 3. Okay. So who is the creator or author? That should be at the bottom. If you don't find it, if it doesn't, and it may be a person, it may be a company or a corporation or an LLC or something. Whatever information you find on each website, put that over here and then rank it. So what I'm looking for in this is, do you have 3 URLs that pertain to computer threats? Did you fill this out? Can you find this information? And did you rank it? And then for each one, you total it. Okay. So there are 5 things. So the highest you can have is 50 for each one. And you do all 3 of the sites that you used for this discussion. So these two go tie together. Okay. So the discussion is the threats with the URLs and your description and discussion replies to others about those threats. And then this crap report, there's a video here about it that will help you. And then just put that in and submit that there. That's worth 10 points. All right. You don't need forum help instructions, but it's there if you need it. This is optional additional information if you need it. So those are the things you need to do for this concepts project. Now you still need to go back. Can I go back? And do the attendance journal. Let's go back. Please unload. Please undo. Let's go back. Oh, one more. One more. All right. Yes. Okay. And then the attendance journal. Tell me one thing you learned and or something funny, such as a clean joke. Sorry. You can also get jerks if you have joke. I'm sorry. It's really early in the morning and I'm tired. You can get a joke from your companion device, the ones with names. I won't say it because I don't want to wake it up. So you can get a clean joke. Tell me something funny, or tell me something that you learned this week. And don't say jerk. I apologize. That was just an early morning faux pas. All right. So what else do you need? Okay. You know how to do that. All right. That is it for this week. Have a fabulous middle of October, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.